What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. We're just in the first few weeks of the regular season of football, and things are already getting crazy. We've got big injuries that are happening. We've got transfer dramas. We have big moments that have happened in some of the games. We've got first losses. We're talking about all of that on this episode of What the Football. Let's get into it.
Boom! I like that.
Let's just get into it, I guess. Let's just get into our conversation. So, Judah, how you doing, man?
Yes, boss.
You're still on the road.
Yes, I am. Somewhere on God's good earth.
That's
I'm
right.
still on the road. I miss time in the studio with you.
Oh, yeah,
But
man.
football never stops, bro. Football never stops.
That's why we can't stop. We gotta keep going.
Yeah.
We gotta keep going.
We just have to. It's a beautiful time. The season is young, but as you already said, there's so many things to talk about. Football keeps
Yep.
giving. It
Yeah,
keeps
man.
giving, man.
Before we talk about the season that has just started, let's talk about the tournament that just ended. The Women's World Cup
Oh, the
final.
Women's World Cup.
The Women's World Cup
Ah.
final.
Congrats to Spain.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Spain. That was one of
Well
the
done.
teams you chose. So congrats to you also. So congrats to Spain and to Andrew, because Andrew chose Spain as one of his teams.
To say this, I want to clarify this. I actually was hoping for the Lionesses to win.
Sorry, man.
But man,
Sorry, bro.
I feel like England, something's going on there.
Yeah.
They need to get a
Well,
they need to catch a break.
they're European champions. They're European
Oh, yeah,
champions.
yeah. That's right.
They could still hold on to that. But I actually love the Spain team. I think in one of the
Oh yeah.
in the first game that they had, I really loved their play. I think they dominated. I can't remember who they played. But after I saw their game against Japan, I felt like any team that is disciplined and can hit them on the counter will deal with them.
Mm.
But it was funny that no team could do that after Japan. Because Japan showed how to play Spain. Japan won them 4-0 in the third game of the group.
Mm.
But no other person could do it. And I think they are worthy winners. Vamos! Worthy winners, bro. They're worthy winners.
Vamos.
I can't. There's
That's
not much
right.
I can do, man. They're worthy winners. Every time, worthy winners. Definitely my girl, Salma Parahuelo. I've always been talking about her every episode. I feel like she's a star to watch. And she won the Young Player of the Tournament award. I saw
That's
it and
right.
I was so happy. I'm like, yeah, Salma. I'm
That's
so
right.
so glad for her and the Spanish team.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good
Yep.
stuff.
Congratulations to them. Sorry for England, but I'm sure they'll be back. They have a really good team, and hopefully
Yeah,
they'll
they
be
do.
back.
They do.
And yeah,
Yeah. I think they represented themselves really well.
yeah. But
The
Spain
English should be
are,
proud of the women.
but the Spain were, like you said, they were just a cut above
Yeah,
the rest, and
They were the better team.
Yeah.
The better team won. But shout out to the England goalie also. I think she had a good game.
oh yeah,
England
saved a
goalie,
penalty,
she
saved a penalty.
Yeah. Shout out to the lady. I think she
Yeah.
plays for Manchester United. Shout out to her.
Mm. Yeah. But moving on, the Premier League season is underway, and we got to talk about
Bro.
West Ham versus Chelsea.
Bro, my God.
Hey, before
Ah.
you say anything, how
Yeah.
does £100 million penalty feel?
Bro, it's 115. It's not even 100. It's 115 million. It's more expensive than 100, bro.
What was your
Chelsea
thought
did-
about the game?
Man, I think it was one of those games that just played with your emotions, if that makes any sense. It just played with my emotions in the sense that I didn't think Chelsea deserved to lose the game. They shouldn't have lost the game, but football is football anyway. The funny thing is, just after the game, a friend of mine called me on the phone and he's like, but what do you think? What's going on? And I'm like, right now, I don't know. So I think it's, well, first off, not just that we had 115 million penalty. We also had somebody who's about 105 miss a penalty.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so Enzo missed a penalty.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so you have 105 million worth of a penalty miss, and then you have 150 million pounds worth of a penalty against you.
Man.
So one penalty miss, one penalty cost, and I'm like, bro, what a game. First off, I feel like at the end of the first half, you feel like Chelsea should have been winning by halftime, definitely,
Oh, for sure.
if not
Yeah.
for the penalty miss. Because after, again, like in the first game against Liverpool, after going 1-0 down, Chelsea play well. They don't feel, they don't play like they're losing their confidence and all. They play well. They get back in the game. Chukwuemeka, beautiful goal, nice game. And then he gets injured and is off. But by halftime, you think like, oh, Chelsea's going to win this game. But bro, come second half, Modric comes on for Chukwuemeka, who's injured, and the game just takes a different look. I think Chelsea should have won the game, but it's just proper Chelsea. Proper Chelsea in the sense that they have possessions, they move the ball around, but they just can't score. They just can't score. It's same old Chelsea, same old Chelsea. Oh, we played well, but football doesn't go on. We played well. You have to put the ball in the net. That is football. It's not we played well. You don't get any points for playing well, bro. You score. If you don't score, you lose. But it is what it is, man. It's just shout out to West Ham. They played really well as a team. They defended as a team. Men behind the ball. You know, it's funny though. Some years ago, people would have come out and shouted the whole, hey, they're parking the bus, they're parking the bus. But no, nobody's doing that anymore. But it is what it is. Shout out to West Ham.
Why do you think that is?
I think maybe people have gotten tired of talking about it, I guess. I guess so. Or just because if you say that to someone like David Moyes, he has nothing to lose. What? But it was like Jose Mourinho. You know, he was the guy who started the whole put players behind the ball, hit on the counter and all. And people, oh yeah, he's parking the bus and all. And he got a lot of banter for it. But now everybody's doing it, and maybe because they're not the special one. So taking a hit at them will not make big news, I guess. So it is what it is. But funny game, man. Funny game. I still feel I feel like Chelsea shouldn't have lost the game. The team, as I keep saying, the team is still a work in progress. So
But hey, as you say, work in progress, they've invested heavily in the team since Todd Bowley's been in charge. It's been over about 900 million pounds or euros, whatever. I don't know.
Thereabouts.
That's a lot of money invested in a team that is not in the Champions League at the moment. Like, what on earth is their transfer strategy?
To be honest, I think Chelsea is signing potential, if that makes any sense. So I think their transfer strategy, from what I see on the outside, I don't see it in the body meetings and all of that. But what I see on the outside, it feels like Chelsea is signing potential. They are looking for players who are young and have potential to become superstars in the next 3 to 4 years. And they are signing them on. The funny thing is they're signing them on for big fees, like really big fees. Enzo is over 100 million. Caicedo is over 100 million.
Right.
Lavia is over 50 million.
Right.
So you can see the kind of guys they're signing. And they are all under 24. So Chelsea is signing potential. I think that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to sign folks and hope that in the next few years, these guys will become the cream of the crop. I hope it works, because if it doesn't, it's going to be funny and very, very bad. I don't want to use the word bad, but I can't think of a better one.
Well, it's kind of like a gamble.
I hope it works out.
It's kind of like a gamble, isn't it? Yeah.
It is a gamble. It's a huge gamble. But that's it. You have to be in it to win it. So it's huge risk. But if it pays off, huge benefits. If it pays off. So you look at the midfield. I think I was talking to someone yesterday. And I said Chelsea's midfield looks totally different from the midfield that started last season. So at the start of last season, you had Conte, you had Kova, and you had Jorginho. At the start of this season, none of those three guys are there.
Mm.
Like none of them. Not even. It's not like one of them is on the bench. None. They're all gone. And the three of them have so much experience. So much experience. I still feel like the Kova deal to City. I'm not sure if that was essential. Anyway, I get the Jorginho stuff leaving in January. That's fine. And Enzo coming in. I get Conte leaving. His contract was up. But I'm still not sure that Kovacic had to leave. Because look at the midfield now. You have Enzo and Gallagher. At the start of last season, none of them was like Chelsea's starting midfielders.
Right.
Enzo came in January. So I felt like leaving Kova behind could have helped that transition. At least let him play with Enzo a little longer. And maybe he can leave in January. City can still sign him in January. That's fine. But the guys who make the decisions make the decisions. So it is what it is. I still feel like so Chelsea have midfielders that are like Enzo is over 100, as I said. Caicedo is over 100. Lavia is over 50. So Chelsea have midfielders that are worth 300 to 400 thereabouts. But they still don't have enough striking options. So look at the game against West Ham. Chelsea are down. They need goals. And they're bringing on a 21-year-old. I can't remember his name. Busto, something like that. So if you have that amount of midfield options, they have Madueke, they have all these guys. But up front, you still don't have enough options.
Wait,
So I think,
but Judah, they have Mudryk on
yeah.
the bench. Like they paid what, 80
Mo-
whatever for him? Like he's on the bench. So you're saying you don't have enough strike options, but there are strike options, right?
Well, first off, I don't think Modric is a striker. I don't count him as a striker. Secondly, right now, speaking right now, in the first 2 weeks of the Premier League season, I don't think Modric should be in the starting 11.
Wow.
I don't think he's ready to be in the starting
Really?
11. Yeah, I know he cost. Yeah, I know he cost as much as he did, but right now, I don't think Modric should be. He's not ready to be in Chelsea starting 11. Look at the game against West Ham. He came on to replace Chukwuemeka. Kane played much better than he did. He had the whole second half because he came in at halftime. And if you saw the game, you can't think of many things that he did that helped Chelsea in attack. He did give one cross to Sterling, which I remember. That was a good cross, but that's the only thing I think I can remember. In 45 minutes of football and about 9 minutes extra time or stoppage time or whatever it's given. That's just the thing. I don't think right now he should be in the starting 11. He's not ready for it. It might be his confidence. His confidence might be low because he's still looking for his first Chelsea goal and he's played half a season or he's been there for half a season. So maybe that's getting into his head. And also, Modric is a speedster. For him, it's just the need for speed. But West Ham had a lot of players behind the ball. So at most of the time, he didn't have enough space to run into. So maybe that's another issue. But right now, nah, I don't think he's ready to be in the starting 11. He needs more time. That's what I think.
I mean, I guess that's a fair analysis, but at the same time, paying 80 million or whatever the cost was to get a player to just sit on the bench, somebody who had, I feel like there's potential, but then at the same time, you got to start players to help them get that confidence. And for Chelsea, that's really difficult in this season because
It is.
they're not in the
It is.
Champions League, right? So
Nope.
they only got the Premier League and FA Cup and Carabao Cup, and that's pretty much it. And the squad is, I don't even know how many players they have, so they have to let players probably go and kind of sort all of that stuff out because you'll have an unhappy dressing room otherwise.
Yeah, I think Ziyech has just gone to Galatasaray, so Ziyech is out. Like the Lukaku stuff is, bro. Lukaku's story is just tiring. I think he's also one person that, if they can, they would like to let go. But he was on loan at Inter last season. It doesn't seem like Inter is going to keep him. Then discussion started with Juventus. And the Inter fans are like, oh, you want to go to Juventus? Fine. We are no longer interested. And then the Juventus fans come out and they protest and they go, we don't want Lukaku. We already have a second goalkeeper. And I'm like, bro, I feel bad for the guy. I
Yeah,
feel really
it
bad
is
for the guy.
tough.
I
Yeah.
feel really bad for the guy. Because Poch has also said, before he came on, while they were discussing, he was told that that will be settled. So that's not his problem. And I'm like, okay, Lukaku needs someone to pray for him, bro.
Dude, for real. I mean, a question for you though. Would it be worth Posh looking at, Lukaku and going, maybe I could get the best out of him. Maybe I could work with him and do something. Because you're saying you need a striker. He's literally right there. So, like,
But we have Jackson. So
sure.
Nicholas Jackson is 22-year-old. He also looks like a good guy, good potential. As I keep saying, Chelsea are signing potential.
Sure.
But every manager has what they require of their players. So I don't know if what Poch requires from his strikers, Lukaku can do it. So that's a Poch decision to make with the club. So if Poch thinks I need my strikers to play on the shoulder of the last defender or to make runs, inside channels or whatever, and he feels like, okay, Lukaku is not the guy to do it for me, then that's what it is. It's just like not too long ago when Graham Potter was there, Chelsea needed goals and he wasn't playing Aubameyang and we didn't know why.
Right.
Yeah, so only Poch can answer that question.
Shout out Poch. Tell us what's going on. Can you get the best out? I feel bad because this was a player who a few years ago was like killer. Like, teams wanted him.
Yeah,
I mean, Chelsea brought him back for so much money because they wanted
about 90 million.
Right? And so this was a player who people thought like, hey, this guy is like on fire. And yeah, it's hope for the best. Lukaku, like, hope things can work out, man. But
yeah, I think Lukaku is the kind of player that thrives under certain kind of managers. Managers will give him confidence and that kind of stuff. So I think Antonio Conte he's the best. He's the guy who has gotten the best out of him. In recent memory, if I remember. Maybe Roberto Martinez a bit with Belgium. I think with Everton, I guess. But Lukaku is that kind of guy. He needs a manager who believes in him and,
right.
You're my main guy, that kind of stuff. I don't think Poch is that kind of guy.
Okay.
So it is what it is. Yeah.
It is what it is. Hey, moving on. There was it was a game of big losses this week as well. We had United lose to Tottenham.
Manchester United. Well, I saw that game. Yeah, United deserve to lose. I say it that way. That's it. I saw the game. I think he played Garnacho. I think he started Garnacho, Mason Mount, and all. But I didn't. And I think Anthony struck the crossbar. I saw that. But I think Tottenham were the better team. They worked so hard. Yves Bissouma. Gosh.
Yeah. I heard a lot
Bissouma
about
was
him.
playing the guy played like a beast, man. He was everywhere. Winning tackles, guiding the ball. He was fouled so many times. Yves Bissouma had a beautiful game. Even Papsa, who scored the first goal. Beautiful game. I tell you, beautiful game. They worked so hard. And even without Harry Kane.
Yeah, they seem to be thriving without Kane.
Well, it might still be too early to say, but it might still be too early. But they haven't lost, so they drew their first game with Brentford, and now they've won this against United. But the United game was so impressive. Son out wide as the captain. He started with Richarlison. The game also was kind of funny. The weekend was funny because Richarlison was taking off, and he was upset. He didn't look happy. Ten Hag took over Rashford. He didn't look happy. So I'm like, what's going on? And if you remember in the first week, Klopp took out Salah. in the Chelsea game, he didn't look happy.
Oh yeah. Hey, must be
So it
must
was
be a
like,
season of players like not wanting to go off, I guess.
yeah,
Let's see.
I guess. So that game was really good for Spurs. It was really, really good. Um, the Spurs goalie also, Vicario, I think that's his name. He
Mm,
had a good game. He had a
mm,
really good game. He had a
okay.
really good game. This other, the new signing, Udoje, beautiful game.
Yeah, and that what does that say about United though? Does I guess United have work to do.
Yes, they do. As every other team does. Even Chelsea have work to do.
Sure, sure.
A lot of work to do. Like Poch has a lot of work to do. I think United have a lot of work to do, definitely. Um, I'm trying to see how they play when their new striker comes in. That's one word, one name I'm not sure I know how to pronounce. Like Hoylund,
Hoylund. Rasmus
Hoylund, something like
Hoylund.
that.
Yeah, yeah. There's a video
Yeah.
somewhere
So I'm
of
waiting.
somebody asking him, "How do you say your name?" And then he says Hoyland. But which is it's important because we got Holland or Holland or however you say
Yeah,
um,
Ellen Holland.
Erling's name, Erling's last name, and then you got this guy Hoyland. So the two strikers up front for both Manchester clubs, Holland and Hoyland.
Yeah. So I'm waiting to see what it turns out to be for them when he's there, because I think he's injured now. But
Oh,
in
really?
the Spurs game now, I think he's injured. Yeah,
Okay.
he has a little minor injury or something. So when he
Okay.
comes in, yeah, then we can try and see what it's going to look like. But so
Okay.
far, definitely a lot of work to do. A whole lot of work to do.
Mm.
I think they need to settle the Maguire situation. Is he going to leave? Is he going to stay? They need to settle that. Now Fred is gone. That's clear.
Oh.
So he played Casemiro. Yeah, Fred is gone. So he played Casemiro, he played Mount and Fernandez. His substitutions were, yeah, okay. Pelistri, Martial came on. He didn't play. He didn't bring on McTominay, so I don't know what he's thinking. But the thing is, in a season like this, where you have the opportunity to make 4 or 5 substitutions, I think if you're losing, you should as well just do as much as you can. But they have a lot of work to do. Tottenham played way better. Shout out to Bissouma, shout out to Papstar, shout out to Vicario, all those guys. Beautiful game. Really beautiful game. It was even funny that for a game like that, Spurs started without Højbjerg. So
Oh,
Højbjerg
he's
didn't
still
start.
there. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, he is. Højbjerg didn't start. Højbjerg came on like the last 15 minutes or something like that.
Okay.
And without Højbjerg, they still played really well. So shout out to them.
Great. Yeah. Moving on to the other side of Manchester, though. City versus Newcastle. 1-0.
Yeah. Yeah.
No KDB. Foden stepped up.
Yep. No Bernardo also. I don't think Bernardo.
No Bernardo also, yeah. So,
Yeah.
what does that
At least
say
he
for
didn't
City?
start. They mean business. I think that's what it says. They mean business. Wednesday, they played Sevilla in the Super Cup. They won on penalties. Saturday, they come back and they play Newcastle. That's a great team, and they won that.
That's
So
right.
you can see
Yeah.
that City mean business. They
Yeah.
mean business.
Yeah.
Shout out to them. Shout out to Pep. It was a cagey game though. There were like not too many shots on targets. I think City didn't have up to 6. I think like 4 or 5 shots on target. I think Newcastle had 1 or 2 only. There was a cagey affair, but as you know, 3 points is 3 points, and they got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So, Foden stepped up and he was operating in that KDB role, and he did quite well. I think he had an assist as well.
Yeah, he did. The goal for Alvarez, beautiful goal.
Beautiful
Just
goal,
beautiful goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, really beautiful goal. Really, really beautiful goal. Shout out to them also. Great game, really great game for them.
Yeah. Should Newcastle be worried?
Nah, it's still too early. Still too early. They're only 2 games into the season. You play the champions away. You lose 1-0. Nah, you shouldn't worry. I think Newcastle's next game is Liverpool though.
Okay.
So I think if they lose that, should they be worried? Not so much. Not so much. But I would expect that they shouldn't lose that. But the thing with Liverpool is Liverpool turn up in games you expect them not to.
True.
and they lose games, you expect them to win.
True.
That's just the Liverpool team. So last season they went to St James Park and they won Newcastle. But Leeds United came to Anfield and won Liverpool.
Yeah.
So that's Liverpool for you.
Yep.
So should Newcastle be worried if they lose to Liverpool? I don't think so. That would just be the third game of the season. I don't think so. I think so.
I
But
will
I think
say
Newcastle a
I
team
will
to watch.
say I think they've returned back to a bit more of their confidence and intensity compared to last season. They lost a little bit of that last season, Liverpool, but it seemed like they
Mm-hmm.
have that back. So, but I think Newcastle will probably be a really good test for them, and likewise for Newcastle, that'll
Yeah,
be a good test for them to continue on,
yeah,
sustaining that sort of
yeah,
intensity against the big sides.
yeah.
But man, I would say you said City mean business. I think Newcastle do as well, and
Yeah, they do. I think they do also.
losing one
They do.
0 I mean, it's early enough in the season they can shake that off, like you said. Like it's too early.
Mm-hmm.
And they
Yeah,
seem
they
to
still have time.
have a good manager and a good team that can help them to continue to sustain that. But I mean, they along with a couple of other teams are the teams to watch this year. Newcastle, Brighton, Aston Villa. Both Aston Villa and
Sure.
Brighton had good games this weekend as well. I mean, Brighton scoring
Beautiful.
consecutively 4-1, winning 4-1
Yeah,
consecutively. Like
yeah,
that's
good for them.
that's
Good for
something
them.
to keep an
But the
eye
team
out
with
on.
yeah, sure, sure. The team with those teams you've mentioned, Newcastle, Aston Villa, and what's the third one?
Uh,
Brighton.
Brighton.
Yeah, is that they all have European football this season.
Right.
So let's see how that affects them. So let's come back and talk about them in December. Yeah, yeah, that's true. So I'm not saying that they will fall off and they will have a bad season. No,
Yeah.
because I think one of the things they know or they've tried to do is they know the amount of competitions they are in and they've planned for that. So Aston Villa are still signing folks. I think Nicolo Zaniolo, is going to join them. He was actually at the game against Everton. He
He
was
was
sitting there in the
yeah, I
stands.
remember seeing that. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So you can see that they're getting in more players. They've gotten in Diego Carlos, Pau Torres, Tielemans from Leicester, and all of that. So you can see that they are actually planning for this. But
Yep.
it's one thing to plan for it. It's another thing when it's in the moment.
Sure. Yeah.
So when all these competitions are happening, when you have to play midweek and then play weekend, let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
Let's see how it goes. But I'm really optimistic that they should still have good seasons.
Yeah. And it's
They should
it's
still
good
have
to
good
see.
seasons.
This is why Premier League is again other folks watching other leagues will probably come at us for this, but this is why I think you and I both believe that the Premier League is like probably the best league because you got teams like
Kind of, yeah,
Brighton, Aston Villa,
yeah,
Newcastle, and it keeps changing. Like you have
yeah,
some teams that consistently keep winning. I think it's time for
yeah,
City to be overthrown. Will that happen or not? Let's see. But it's good to see these different teams coming up and changing the game.
yeah, yeah,
And so yeah, like you said, we'll come back maybe in December and like revisit and see how are some of these clubs doing.
yeah.
But elsewhere, in Europe, the transfer market has been kind of like a crazy thing. PSG in particular has had a lot of crazy outgoings. They've had apparently Kolomwani is coming in, Dembele
Yeah.
is coming in, but this is
Dembele is
also
already in.
Dembele is
Dembele is
already in.
already in. Yeah.
But they've also had crazy outgoings. They've lost Messi and Neymar in the same window, and they may be
I
losing
tell you,
Kylian
Mbappe.
Mbappe in this window.
Yeah, I think it's a funny time for PSG because
Yep.
there's a whole lot of change going on. A whole lot of change. As you said, Messi and Neymar living in the same transfer window. It's kind of shocking.
Hmm.
And this is the same window with Mbappe doing the whole I'm not going to renew, I'm going to play, I'm going to leave for free next year.
Yep.
But I think everybody has come together. They've spoken about it. He's been reinstated into the team. But there's I don't know if I should call them rumors, because I read something somewhere that Real Madrid are planning to actually offer about 100 million for Mbappe towards the end of the transfer window.
Yep, there are rumors about that. Yep.
Yeah. If that is in any way true and that happens, we could see Messi, Mbappe, and Neymar live in the same transfer window. Now, I don't know how that paints PSG. I don't know if it paints them as a good selling club or as a club who are not just good at planning. Now, people would say, oh, yeah, they bought Dembele to replace which of them, Neymar or Messi? Now, remember, this is the same Mbappe. No, not Mbappe. This is the same Dembele, but Barca bought to replace somebody.
Who was
You
it?
remember who?
No.
I think Luis Suarez.
Oh man, yeah.
I think it was Luis Suarez when he left.
Mm.
Or Neymar. No, it was Neymar. Yeah, it was Neymar. When Neymar left to PSG, they used
Yeah.
the money they got from Neymar to get Dembele and Coutinho.
Okay.
And the Coutinho thing didn't work. The Dembele thing felt like a switch. Somebody would turn it off and turn it on.
Mm.
Sometimes he would have the issue of he came late to training or he was gaming all night, so he slept. He had injury issues. And so I tell you, it felt like a switch. It was like sometimes the switch is on, sometimes somebody else comes and turns it back off.
Yeah.
But I think Xavi really helped. Xavi came in, gave him some confidence. And it was really clear that Xavi wasn't happy with Dembele leaving. Yeah, but it's football. It is football. So for PSG as a club, I don't know. Because one of the things that many people expected was PSG was trying to do a Chelsea or a Man City, in the sense that Abramovich came, took over Chelsea, put in money. Chelsea became bigger than what they used to be. They won the Champions League twice under him. For Man City, Sheikh Mansour came in, put in money and all of that. They won the league. Remember the Aguero last minute stuff, and they won the league. And they kept winning everything in England, and it felt like the Champions League was something they would never win, but they've won it now.
They won it. They treble too. They did the treble last season.
Yeah, they did the
last season. Yep.
So now, many people think or expected that PSG was going to do the same.
Right.
The QSG guys, as the Qatari Sports Group, have come in, put in a lot of money. They got Zlatan, they got Cavani at some point, and they had those guys. And then they got Neymar, they got Messi, they got Mbappe, and they were like, okay, this is a team to win the Champions League, but they haven't done it. And they haven't done it, and Messi is gone. They haven't done it, and Neymar is gone.
Yeah.
But they have got Dembele and Ramos, the Portuguese guy. Let's see. And they have a really good coach in Enrique. I think Luis Enrique is a good coach.
Yeah.
But he also won the treble with Barca. So let's see how it goes. Will people consider the PSG project as a failure? I'd say it's still too early. There's still time. Let's see what Luis Enrique does.
Is it though? Being a few seasons in, is it too early?
It took City a while to win the Champions League.
Fair. Okay. Fair.
So I think let's give them that because I think Ligue 1 is like their birthright. They win Ligue 1. I think since QSG have taken over, they've only not won it twice or so. So like they've won 8 of the last 10, if I'm not mistaken, something like that, or 7 of the last 10. Could be wrong. So let's see.
Okay. I saw a video recently about somebody linking the recent Moises Caicedo transfer all the way back to Neymar's transfer from Barcelona to PSG. And they talked about how because of how much PSG paid for Neymar, that inflated transfers from then on. And so that's kind of why we have players right now like Caicedo who have just come onto the scene being apparently worth over 100 million pounds.
Yeah. It's possible. But I can't say
it's possible. I thought that was just very fascinating. And so yeah, I guess we'll see how the PSG project pans out, and let's see what happens with Mbappe. Maybe we'll have a big transfer boom to talk about by the end of the window.
Yeah, possibly. So the Neymar thing, I think, because in Spain, it's a usual thing for players to have release clauses in their contracts. So that was Neymar's release clause at that point, 222 or 200 something million. And PSG felt, okay, to avoid too many negotiations, if we can pay the release clause, we will get him. And they did that. So I think clubs saw that and went, oh, this is possible now. Okay, fine. But look at two of Chelsea's players. Enzo, that was Chelsea signed from Benfica. The season he left Benfica, that was his first season in Benfica. So
Yeah,
Benfica had just bought him from somewhere, I think in Argentina. And the World Cup happened. Argentina wins the World Cup. He had a good World Cup. His value just skyrockets.
sure.
So
Yeah,
I think Benfica made over 8 times or 9 times what they bought him for. Now, in that situation, I don't think it was a release clause issue. I think it was just you really want this player now. This is what we value him at. Are you willing to pay us now? And the player was also going, I want to go to Chelsea now.
right,
So Benfica make the best out of it.
right.
Look at Caicedo. Caicedo, I think Brighton signed him from Independent or something like that. He's been in the Premier League for like 2 seasons. Or 2.5 seasons, if I'm not wrong. Now, Caicedo doesn't have £150 million release clause in his contract. He doesn't. But Brighton see that he's a player everybody wants. Or not everybody, but nearly everybody wants. Liverpool wanted him. Arsenal wanted him. To January. Arsenal wanted him. Chelsea wanted him. Liverpool wanted him. And it's simple. They made it clear. We'll sell to the highest bidder. If you pay more than this other guy, you get him. If this guy pays more than you, we'll give it to him. Kalas. And I think the 115 is Brighton just being a very good selling club. Very good selling club. Those guys are really good.
Yeah.
Chelsea have gotten Graham Potter from them. The same Graham Potter Chelsea had to pay them for to pay off his contract. Chelsea sacked him months after. Chelsea have gotten Robert Sanchez from them. Chelsea have gotten Cucurella from them for close to 60 million. The same Cucurella City wanted to get, and they were like, we're not paying that. And Chelsea's like, oh, we'll pay. And they'll sell. Chelsea have gotten Caicedo from them. But the funny thing is, Liverpool got McAllister from them for like under 40 million. So it's just the transfer market. That's just the way it is.
Yeah. Yeah. So moving on from the transfer market, we didn't get to talk last week about the United versus Wolves game because we recorded a little bit earlier than that.
Yeah.
But United played Wolves, and there was a big penalty decision that wasn't given in favor of Wolves. And that resulted actually in the 3 referees being dropped for week 2 of the Premier League.
The VAR referees or the on-pitch referees?
I think it was the main on-pitch referee and 2 of the VAR referees because so that's, I don't know if you had any thoughts on that, but that was it was a big call during the match for them not to give the penalty, but then also for a big thing for the referees to go ahead and ask those main referees to stand down for the following Premier League weekend. I don't know what you think about that.
Well, the thing is, I didn't see the game live, the United Wolves game, but I saw I think it was the Instagram post by Wolves, Cannonball.
Yeah. that was funny. Yeah, that was funny.
Yes, I saw the Cannonball stuff, and I think it should have been given as a penalty. It should have been.
Yep, it was a clear
Banana
penalty.
really clatters into the guy.
Yeah.
I think the fact that if the refs were actually suspended for 1 week, I think that's what do you call them, the PGMOL, something like that. I think that's them indirectly trying to accept that they've made a mistake, or the referees have made a mistake. But the funny thing is, for things like that, the match doesn't get replayed.
True.
The score stays that way.
Yep.
So for Wolves, suspending the refs doesn't change anything. They could have actually had the penalty and missed it, or Onana could have saved it, but at least they never got an opportunity to try.
The 3 points are
But I think
gone, or
it's
the points are
just,
gone.
yeah, points are gone, points are gone. But I think it's the referees board trying to go, yeah, I think we got that wrong.
Mm.
Yeah, so I think that's my simple thoughts on that.
Yeah, and I agree. I think you're right. Like the points that they could have had, they didn't. Um, and so that maybe that could have changed the game for them. But anyway,
You could have,
it's the Premier League referees group, whatever they're called, them trying to
mm,
at least acknowledge that a bad
mm,
decision was made, and I think that was something that people were trying to get from them. Like, do you realize that you made a bad decision, and you never really got anything before that, you know what I mean? But now, like you
yeah,
said, like this is them kind of acknowledging that. So we'll see how many times that happens this season. Maybe we need to do a tally by the end of the season, how many times they got it wrong and they had to do that. So but
yeah,
anyway, good conversation today, man. I mean, there's so much to talk about with the league as always,
so
and
much,
just the
so
world of
much,
football in
so much,
general. But good
so
catching
much, yeah.
up, and I guess we'll chat in the next one. You'll still
Yes,
be on
yes,
the
we
road, I
will.
guess. But for those of
Yeah,
you,
yeah, I will still will.
you'll still be on the road, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool, cool. For those of you tuning in, thanks so much for joining us and being with us. And if you made it to the end, thank you so much. Um, Please feel free to like and subscribe on YouTube and Spotify. Give us a thumbs up. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know what you thought of the episode of the Premier League week or whatever other league that you guys are watching. Let us know what you want to hear us talk about. If there's anything that you see during the week that was a big deal, a big moment, a big what the football moment, like tell us, and we'll try to talk about it in the future episodes. But anyway, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.
See ya.